G'day, hobbyists, and welcome back to The Hobby, the podcast where we explore all things related to hobbies and passions, from trading cards to pop culture, everything else in between. I'm Dean Alsop, your host, and as always, I'm joined by my right-hand man, the Colonel.
What's going on, hobbyists? Episode 9.
Episode 9, dude.
We're getting there.
Yeah. We're double digits for the next ep.
Love to see it.
Which is mental.
I'm having a ball. Are you having a ball at the moment?
I'm having a good time. having a good time. My back's a little sore, but, you know, that's just from carrying you.
Oh, God. That's shocking. That's shocking. We interviewed Kim the Collector last episode.
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool.
Yeah, so, really good fun.
Thank you again to Kim for jumping on that episode.
Yeah. No, that was a banger. And I attended regionals.
You did.
For One Piece.
Well, we've actually decided today that in the main piece of the discussion, we're going to have a bit of a deep dive into that because you flew the flag really well at regionals, mate.
I wouldn't say really well.
For your first official tournament, you did great.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that, but I believe this is another episode where we're going to start with the results of the previous Hobby Rumble. Undefeated, me. Completely defeated, you.
Until now,
Daenerys Targaryen has beaten Jon Snow as the rightful owner of the Iron Throne. I think it was, I had it written down somewhere, 33% to 67%.
Feels good. My back was against the wall, man. Because I'd lost the first 3, and then it was going into this. This is my home, you know, Game of Thrones. So I'm glad I could take the win out on this one.
Yeah, I'm glad I could set you up for success.
Oh, God, doesn't even admit it. I just can't wait to see you take this punishment.
Look, the good thing is if I was voting as a listener, I also would have voted for Daenerys. But, you know, we have to argue 2 different points of view, right? Like, it doesn't always necessarily mean we agree with it, but we've got to put that case forward. And you did a good job. You did a good job of arguing the correct.
You were honourable with Jon as well, I must say.
Yeah, it could have been Jon, but it shouldn't have been Jon.
Yeah, very true.
It's kind of the way I sort of land on that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's very much could have been, but it shouldn't have been.
So the people have spoken, Dino, and we have prepared you a lemon shot for this episode that you were going to take at the start right now. And then we're going to follow suit. We had the episode where I had the sour spray.
Yes.
And I had to spray in my mouth whenever you said to take a spray. And we're going to do that back to you this episode as well. Bit of a taste of your own medicine, I think.
It's worse for me. You seem to have a palate that enjoys a bit of sourness. Mine, on the other hand, is like instant gag reflex.
Yeah, which is why I was more than happy to follow on with this one for you. So,
well, it's probably a good time to mention, and we'll discuss it more at the Hobby Rumble section in this episode. But we're going to change how the punishments are dished out. We're going to go a bit bigger, and we'll talk to you about that when we get there. But for now, here's me having a shot of lemon juice.
This is the best.
Oh, it's so strong.
It's a good one. This is great.
That actually wasn't that bad.
Oh, really?
It's going down.
I just wanted to sit in the silence for a bit there so we could really enjoy your reaction.
I thought it was going to be really bad from the get-go, but now it's bad.
Yeah. You know what would be great? A few sprays on top of that as well. Have 2 sprays just for on top. For old time's sake. I don't know what this does for the quality of the podcast, but it's great for my amusement, so.
Right.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to telling you guys about the new punishment schedule. Right, let's go to the news then.
You're starting us off, Dino. Right. Actually, you have 2 more sprays before you tell us your news. Let's just really make sure. Don't cut any of this, JP. Don't cut any of this. Leave this all in.
Right. Now to the news. We're going to do Disney Lorcana. Yes, I'm a Disney Lorcana fanboy. Love the game. It's great. We had Tia on. Who doesn't love Disney Lorcana, right? It's sick. But they have announced the release of their next D23 promo set, basically. So the original D23s was last year. The Mickey Mouse goes for a couple of grand. It's one of the Grail cards. They've now come out and said, all right, we're going to do it again at D23 this year. But we're going to give you 6 promos, 1 from each set. So you've got from the first chapter, the Mickey Mouse, Brave Little Tailor, same as the original one. Then you've got from Rise of the Floodborn, it's Cinderella. Into the Inklands is Ursula. Ursula's Return is Bruno Madrigal, whoever that is. I'm a little unsure. Then from Shimmering Skies, it's going to be Vanellope von Schweetz. Again, unsure. Not the Disney guru that I'd like to be.
Yeah, don't know what she's from.
Yeah, I'm looking at you like, hopefully you do, but you don't. And then we've got Oswald, which is going to be the first card that we see from Set 6, because this will come out before Set 6 does. Because we've got Shimmering Skies coming out on the 9th of August. So now these are going to be available at the Ravensburger booth at D23. They are the creator of the game. But what they've also done is they have made a very limited amount of stock available to be sold in retail locations. Very, very small list, but it ends on an absolute banger. So it'll be available at Walt Disney World Resort and Disneyland Resort, as well as the Disney Store in Times Square across America. In the UK, in the Disney Store in London, in Ireland, in the Disney Store, France, in the at Disneyland, and then in Australia, we're added on to that list.
Hey,
there will be a Disney Store pop-up experience in Melbourne. In Melbourne on August 10th to 12th.
I know exactly what we're doing on those days.
Yes, I will be there.
Do we know what the print run is on them? Because the box looks unbelievable. And anything with that D23 logo on it is an absolute collectibles piece. So if for those of you that don't know, D23, the big Disney convention, it's called D23 because that's when Walt Disney founded Disney in 1923.
Yeah.
So it's a piece. It's probably the Disney Lorcana's first really big collectible chase, you would say, as far as a sealed product goes.
Yeah.
We have to get our hands
They
on
are
some.
limited to, I believe, 2 per person. Based on what I saw. But yeah, how much they've printed and how much they'll be bringing to Australia, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I do know is at about 2 to 3 a.m. on the 10th of August, you will find me lining up for set product.
You may even have to go earlier. You may have to be the night before. We can take our swags. We can jump.
I'm like that you said we there, which you started out with you may have to go earlier, and then you're like, we'll take our swags. I'm like, you're coming with me.
Nah, Mim will be there. I'll be there.
No, Mim won't be there. Mim will be here with Harry.
We'll
be there.
Well, Porge, when you listen to this, you're coming too.
Yeah, you're coming. Because we need to walk away with at least 6 of them.
Yeah.
Because I want to open one and I want to keep one.
Yeah, most definitely. Are the enchanted cards going to be printed the same as in set, or will they have like a special promo like D23?
Nah, they usually look the exact same. Just down where the set number is, it'll have D23P.
Cool.
Which is basically the only difference between the original D23. And well, actually, so the Brave Little Tailor, I don't believe is, it's not the enchanted version of the original D23. I don't even know if it's hollow. I think it's just normal.
Yep.
Because it was literally like the first cards I ever printed. But these ones have the full enchanted foil effect.
Awesome.
So they'll look great. But yeah, something exciting out of Disney Lorcana. Shimmering Skies comes out August 9th. So, yep. Over to you, Colonel. Give us our golden touch.
Oh, Goldin Watch, mate. I'm always looking for some of those big sales that have come through. And I feel like I've got some absolute bangers this week. So, number one, $2.9 million. We have a 2003-2004 Ultimate Collection Michael Jordan 1 of 1 PSA 10.
$2.9 million US dollars?
US dollars. That's a big card.
And a 1 of 1 in a PSA 10. It's always a gamble grading a 1 of 1.
It is.
I mean, the reality is whether it's a 1 of 1 and it's a 4 or a 10, it really shouldn't matter. because it's the only copy of that card anyway.
Yep. And for it to come out pristine 10,
For it to actually be a 10,
you can't ask for a better scenario.
no wonder it's like, what's that? That 2.9's got to be like 4.8 mil
Yeah.
Aussie.
I should probably do the conversions of Aussies before.
It's all right. The exchange rate is up and down.
Yeah.
But yeah, somewhere around there. It's pretty nuts.
But that just shows you that the market is still going really strong on some of those bigger cards.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit different. This is for all of our Sex and the City lovers out there. Sarah Jessica Parker signed vintage photograph sold for $74 USD.
Oh, $74.
Yeah, but it's a signed. I thought with the what? Did you think I was going to say $1,000?
I mean, this is meant to be like, I get it. We want a random thing here or there, but still, like, we're a hobby related podcast.
Yeah.
Like, Sarah Jessica Parker fans, if you're out there and you watch this, feel free to come at me in the comments, but I don't think you're watching.
Yeah. I don't want to discriminate against those people that collect photographs, because that's a thing. People would absolutely thrive on going and getting favorite signatures from their favorite, actors and actresses.
Yeah, in the Marvel and DC universe.
Yeah, and that's it. That's cheap.
Not in the Sex and City universe.
But that's the thing, though,
I'm
right?
going to go get a bloody, what's that chick's name that plays Samantha? Kim Cattrall.
That's good by you.
Not going to get something signed by her.
I'm impressed you know that, to be honest.
Big fan of her work.
Dino, have you got any of your St. Kilda tickets from maybe like early 2000? Have you ever gone to a game of football and gone, you know what, I'm going to keep this ticket and maybe it's worth something one day?
As a St Kilda fan, no.
Yeah.
Because none of them are ever going to be worth anything.
Great answer. Well, a bloke over in the US, he kept a 1958 World Cup ticket, and it's got 3 different tickets to it. It's got England versus Brazil, Brazil versus Wales, and Brazil versus England. And it sold for $4,271.
It's interesting.
Crazy, right? Like,
did Brazil win that World Cup?
I actually couldn't tell you.
Probably.
It sounds like they did.
Yeah.
But that could just be group stages. Like, no, it's all just group stage.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, but that's what I mean. But Brazil must have gone on, because it sounds like he's gone to every Brazil game.
Yeah.
In the group stage.
And
then Brazil must have gone on to win that World Cup.
Win it. We can double check that. 4,270.
Just tell us in the comments, guys.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Taylor Swift signed custom electric guitar.
Swifty.
$5,195.
I'd pay that.
You'd pay that for a signed guitar?
By Taylor Swift.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Well,
that's cheap.
I'll make sure when I'm looking on there, I'll see if any more come up. But yeah, I think that's pretty cheap as well. When you think about probably the biggest pop artist in the world.
She is the biggest pop artist in the world right now. Yeah. And she will be one of the biggest we've ever had.
Yeah. Her and MJ probably sit on a pedestal. They're the Mount Rushmore, right?
Beyonce's probably got to be on there too.
Beyonce, Prince, maybe?
No, Prince is well overrated.
Yeah? Not a Prince fan?
No.
But what's the band from the UK?
Oasis.
No.
Oasis. I am an Oasis fan.
What's the 5 guys that
the Rolling Stones?
No,
the Beatles.
I'm not going to be able to think of it. The 5 guys out of the UK. They did the talent show.
Oh, One Direction.
One Direction.
Yeah, what about them?
They were huge.
Also a fan of theirs too.
Oh, they're not Mount Rushmore though.
No.
They're not Mount Rushmore.
What else you got for us?
My last one is a New York Yankees and Seinfeld multi-signed baseball and a photograph display. So this thing looks like really cool. It's got Jerry Seinfeld, Derek Jeter, and Jason Alexander in it, and it sold for $2,320.
Yeah, all right.
So a bit of like, there's the baseball, there's the photo, some real cool sales.
Shouldn't the Goldin had 2 illustrated Pikachus up for auction? Have they sold?
I presume they've probably sold, yeah. I'm trying to just stay away from just like sharing some Pokemon though.
It would be nice to know what they sold for.
I can.
I'm going to go to my next bit and you look it up.
Sure.
And then we'll tell them afterwards.
I love that. Love that.
All right. I'm going to jump back into One Piece and we'll just cover it briefly. There's not heaps to sort of... Oh, that's an absolute lie. ST14 is releasing in August. We've also got a restock of OPO 5 and OPO 6. But PRB 1 is the set that's generated a lot of discussion in the last probably 48 hours. Now, this set is called The Best. It is a memorial set purely based on reprinting really popular playable cards. And that's been interesting to sort of see, the community and how they feel about that. But in the biggest shock, last night they showed a full set in the Japanese variant, and it had all of the manga rares that have been released since set 1 all the way up to OP06. And no, EB01, I think, was where they stopped. So they went all the way up to EB01. And that's obviously, rattled a few people because the manga rares are big cards, big chase, big money. And the fact that they're going to reprint them, although sets 1 to 4 will be mildly different because when they were originally printed, they didn't have the little star above the rarity and they didn't have the One Piece logo embedded on the left-hand corner. So sets 1 to 4 manga reprints will have that, but set 5, 6, and EB01, they already had those. So we don't know how we're meant to tell the difference between those two. So it's really interesting to sort of get an understanding of how that's going to affect the market. Manga prices have already plummeted in Japan, like overnight, based on that information. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with English. And it's important to note that the Japanese and English sets do not always look the same and do the same things.
As in the playability, the cards.
No, the playability is the same, but in terms of alternate arts or like treasure rares, things like that. Because I think in Japanese, a couple of sets have had God packs, which is where you pull all the alt art leaders.
Oh, that's cool.
But then we don't get that. We've got like a treasure rare, which is like a one-off artwork that's not in the Japanese set. So they do different things. So whether or not they do the same for the English set is yet to be seen, because the Japanese version comes out next week at the start of August, and then it's not due in English till November.
Okay.
So plenty of time to sort of see what goes on there. A couple of... the other thing to note too in that set is there's a new manga, and it's Nami.
Very sought after.
And you don't really need to know One Piece to know who Nami is. So that's going to be probably the saving grace for that set though. And I'll add a asterisk because it's hearsay, but apparently every case has a manga in it, which means if there's 9 other mangas, Nami becomes even harder to find by not being the only manga that you could potentially pull in that case.
Right.
So I anticipate other mangas to come down and Nami to go way up.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see. Remember a couple episodes ago we were talking about the PSA exclusive magazine that promo they were doing? Well, they've finally been released, and I'm happy to say they didn't hit the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nah, they've but there is something we didn't know. So PSA released a base version of the magazine. Mm-hmm. Then they released a version numbered to 100 and a version numbered to 1,000. So that made it a bit more of a chase because the magazine started to become more desirable than the card because the card was the same the whole way through, but the magazines differed a little bit.
Interesting.
So just to give you a bit of an idea on that, the magazine base set just the base normal magazine with the card was selling for about 230 to 250 Australian dollars, which is great. Like that's basically sort of the cost range. The card alone in a PSA 10 is selling for about 850. And then I saw an eBay sale of one of the magazines numbered to 100 selling for just over $2,000.
Still seems relatively good, to be honest. Like it's a numbered magazine.
Yeah.
That's collectible.
It's one of those things where the card already exists. This is just an alternate art version of it, but it was the first time the whole Straw Hat crew have been on a card together.
Yep.
So still pretty big. But yeah, And yeah, it's just it was good to sort of see. I still haven't seen any pop up for a sale in Australia. Everything's been in the US,
Right.
so I don't know what's going on there because we receive the PSA magazine, but wasn't changed over to the TCG version in time, so we just got the sport copy. So I'd assume that if people ordered it in Australia, they should have it by now. But
So you mentioned that the price is really good. Have you secured one, Dean?
no,
No.
it's still trending down.
Okay.
So I'm just sort of sitting back.
Waiting.
I mean, if the PSA 10's going for $850, I'm really tempted just to buy that and not even worry about getting a raw card.
Yep.
But I'll just buy it as a PSA 10.
You could run the gauntlet and buy 10 raw cards and maybe you get more than 110.
Well, I was probably going to break the 10 out and send it to BGS. But in the PSA slab, it says PSA magazine exclusive on the label.
Yeah.
I don't know if BGS will write PSA magazine exclusive. Maybe they will, because then they'll be like, we're grading PSA's promos because people don't want to grade it with PSA.
Yeah.
So maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. But yeah, that's all that's happening in the world of One Piece right now.
Love that. So I've got the two most recent sales of the Illustrator Pikachu. So for 305,000 USD,
Yep.
it was a PSA 8.
Yep.
So 305,000. And then a PSA 7 sold for 209.
Yeah, right.
So that's 100,000 difference through one grade.
Yep.
So I think there's only 25 of them in the world, or 34. There's not many of them at all.
Yeah.
They're very like limited run. So that extra grade is an extra $100,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's didn't take me too long to find, which was nice.
And then you get a PSA 10 and it's like an extra couple of million.
Yeah, just stupid.
Yeah.
Dino, I want to talk about Flesh and Blood. We had the Nationals on 2 weekends ago, and I just want to say a massive shout out to all of the Melbourne players. Actually, shout out to all the players first. Over 130 people competed. But I want to say a massive congratulations to the big Melbourne crew that went up there. My guys, everyone that I play with, there was like multiple people flying up together. They had share houses. They were crashing games. And I can report that we had 5 of the top 8 were all Melbourne-based players.
How good is that?
That's huge.
I love that.
We had our very own Zach Gardner take out the win on Zen. Just came out of the blue. And
Is Zen one of those new decks we discussed a couple weeks ago?
Zen is one of the new decks, yeah. So, and there's a great interview with Zach online, which I'll find the link to because it was really cool hearing from his experience. But we took it out. We had 5 of the top 8. 5 of the 8 heroes were the new ones. So you know how I keep talking about those 3 new heroes that have changed the meta. And it's safe to say it was really cool watching the live stream because during the final few hands, you could start to sense that Zach was probably going to get the win. And all the Melbourne crew were standing behind him, just like on edge. And when he wins, everyone jumps up and cheers. And you've got, past national winner Sam, who's another Melbourne player, was one of the first people to go up and hug him. Like, it really is just a really close-knit family.
Yeah.
And it was just so wholesome to see that. And then on the Flesh and Blood website as well, they had the article from the weekend because there's nationals happening all over around the world. And the photo of Zach is like the number one because he's sitting there with his trophy. He's like very much Star Wars, like holding the lightsaber up in the air type thing. And it was
Sick.
It was really cool. So just want to say a massive congratulations to all those players because it was so fun to watch. And now everyone's going to be taking that momentum into Battle Hardened here in Melbourne. So the 2nd to the 4th of August, Dino, 3-day event, Super Armory, Battle Hardened, and then a draft on the Sunday. So your boy will be there. It'll be my first tournament taking part in.
Yeah.
But it's going to be pretty goddamn exciting.
Wait, didn't you already do a tournament? Didn't that not count?
It was, but it was only like a smaller tournament. This is like one of the biggest tournaments outside of nationals that you can go to in the TCG calendar year.
All right, cool. Then, this would be, I'd say, what's like, unless they do regionals, I'd say it's on the same sort of
this is
level.
There's as far as like prizing and stuff like that, like this thing is absolutely stacked. 500 USD to the winner, gold foil rares, playmat, stuff like that, and a lot of points as well towards your like overall standing. Point, and also there's a position. The winner will also get a position to Japan. So really, really cool event. We've also just got Rosetta. That is only a few months away now. So probably the next time we chat will be a few weeks off from Rosetta. Another beautiful set. I know we briefly touched on it a few episodes ago.
Did we?
When it first got announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Flesh and Blood just...
It looks sick. The last two sets, they're definitely going down more of a... They're just expanding their artwork, which in turn will definitely reach more people, because I still walk past part of the Misvale booster boxes in the shop and I'm like...
Do I get one?
Do I get one?
Do I get one?
Do I get one? I haven't got one yet, but I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
Never have before that.
The artwork in this game is insane. And I like that it's not like clickbaity, simplistic artwork as well. There's like lots of detail through it. So yeah, lots of things happening in Flesh and Blood at the moment, and looking forward to being able to report back.
Sweet. That'll be good to see how you go. Sorcery is a game that I don't know if we've really touched on yet.
Yeah, we got called out on it a few times, actually.
Yeah, which is interesting. We have a few things planned around Sorcery, but that's going to be later in the year as we get towards the actual drop of their second set, being Arthurian Legends. So that is what I wanted to discuss today, because there's a lot of chatter about it now. They've officially announced that the first time we're going to see Arthurian Legends will be at, now forgive my pronunciation, Spiel Essen, which is the world's largest board game convention. It's held in Germany.
Germany. You know what else is in Germany?
What?
Sour Spray. Sour Spray is also in Germany.
I don't know if it is.
I've given you like 20 minutes. I completely forgot about it. I'm so sorry for breaking your train of thought. But you needed that.
Ooh.
There's people at home going, these things aren't sour. Oh, mate.
Oh, just that. It's just not pleasant. Yep. So official, like, first time I'm going to see it is on the 3rd, and then its release date is meant to be on the 4th, the next day. So that's going to be really exciting. The artwork in Sorcery is like none other. It blows my mind. It's old school, hand painted. It's miles above. No other card game on the planet comes close.
Yeah,
just you cannot hold a candle to it. I refuse to be told otherwise.
Can't be done. I've seen your master set from Alpha.
Yeah,
the binder that you've got. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's sick. It's a sick set. So, yeah, really excited for Arthurian Legends. That's going to be cool. It's apparently, as far as we know, it's going to be a minimum of 250 cards. The first set was like 403. So it'll be interesting at 250 if it's going to be too small, because the big thing with Sorcery is they only plan to release one core set a year. Now, how does the game stay alive in that instance?
It's a long time between drinks, isn't it?
Yeah, and we will discuss that and more at a future point when we have a couple of guests on directly for Sorcery. So for the ones in the comments, please know that we know it's there. We know you want to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. But for now, Arthurian Legends on the way. Super keen.
Yep. I think I'll just add the cool thing with Sorcery, similar to Flesh and Blood, both coming out of New Zealand at a really similar time.
Yeah.
So really small card markets in turn of the global, market coming from New Zealand, but two really great games, and both good for different reasons as well. And I completely agree. As far as the Sorcery cards go, their card stock is absolutely beautiful.
Well, I think...
But it's been too long since I've seen product.
Yeah. I think Sorcery also held the record on Kickstarter until Altered.
All right.
Which I was going to talk about today because it's getting closer, but there's not really any information. Yep. So we won't. I'll just let you take over the next.
Sounds good. Back to Pokemon. So we had the D23 collector's box that was announced for Lorcana.
Yep.
Pokemon have also just announced a new product, the Charizard EX Premium Collection Box.
I saw that on Facebook or something recently. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more...
When in doubt, Charizard out.
Charizard.
every time with the Pokemon company.
Did you just think of that, or did
Yeah.
you have that in Arsenal? That was good.
I'm a witty bloke, bro.
Well played. Well played. It's retailing at 80 USD. So as far as price point goes,
Is that like $140?
yeah, about $140. Not too bad. It's got a bunch of Scarlet and Violet packs in it, and it's also got a Charizard figurine in it. Now, just reading through some comments so far of people online, it's getting bagged out a bit because the figurine itself looks quite cheap. It looks like not a lot of effort has gone into the figure. So you're paying for the Scarlet and Violet packs, which, you know, the price point doesn't exactly match up with it. Does the sealed box look great? Absolutely. It's like a red kind of looks like a Chinese, Japanese themed style box around it. Something that you could definitely put on the mantle, but I don't think it's a product that you will open because, you know, those figurines, you could probably find them from a, you know, quote unquote $2 store or something like that. So it is copying a bit of flack online. I think as a sealed piece, you definitely need to have one on the shelf though. And
it'll be interesting. I don't know.
Have you've seen images of it yet, or have you?
Yeah. And the box looks cool, but I don't know. At this point in time, if you want to sell something successfully, just slide an Evolving Skies booster pack in there, and you'll be sweet.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Very true. That and a Hidden Fates. Could you imagine the ultimate box? You have like a bit of a collab of Sun and Moon, Scarlet and Violet, and Sword and Shield. You get a Hidden Fates, a Evolving Skies, and a 151 pack.
And Cosmic Eclipse.
And then you put like an Eevee, you put a little statue, Eevee, Pikachu, and a Zard all in one.
Yeah.
That's a piece.
The Pokemon don't want to do that.
No, they don't. No, they don't. And the other thing to mention is pretty much on filming this, Stellar Miracle and Night Wanderers come out, which are the next two Japanese sets for Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I've kind of gone through how to look a bit of the card stock, and I've picked out my top 3. So it's the exact same as the last set. It's all these illustration rares that I think just have the best art.
Before you do, I'm going to call you out on something. Because when we were talking about Twilight Masquerade, and I said Eevee was going to be the chase card, you're like, mate, it's a illustration rare. There's going to be heaps of them. It's going to be like a $20 or $30 card. Currently, Raw is $120. And a PSA 10 is $450.
Well,
So take a long walk off a short pier, mate. Because you were wrong.
sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and I lost on that one.
So just be careful what you say about these ones.
Yeah. And the Eevee is, we spoke about that last week with Kim as well.
Yeah.
Where she said that each of the Eevees have their own personality, their evolution.
It's a beautiful card.
It is a nice card.
It's a beautiful card.
I'm going to go with the Metatite, the Noctowl, and the Zorora. They're my 3 favorite cards from this set. The colors, the Metatite is very much like the Heracross card. Just like a really cool background, lots of nature. You've got the Noctowl, which is a bit like psychedelic.
Was
trippy.
Noctowl Gen 3 or Gen 2?
Whoa, that's a good. I think it's Gen 2.
It's Gen 2 because there's a shining Noctowl.
I think it's Gen 2.
It'd have to be.
Would have to,
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
It'd have to be Gen 2.
Insert. It is Gen 2. But the Noctowl's like very kind of like psychedelic, cool colors. Bit like the Drowsy that we had in a few sets ago. You know, that Drowsy illustration.
Yeah.
And then the Zorora it's probably the most similar to the Greninja in the latest set.
Which is like a $450 card roll, by the way.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
From Twilight Mask, yeah.
The colors in that just hit so differently. 3 cards I will definitely be picking up. Will I be collecting the master set? Probably not. Probably will give this one a miss as well. But those 3 cards are absolutely beautiful, and looking forward to the English coming out in those. I might have to get the Japanese and the English for those 3 cards.
Yeah, nice. That's it for the world of Pokemans.
Love that. Can you please have a bit of a spray? Bit of a spritz?
I just did that. You dog.
Got him.
I've got a little cut on one of my gums because I ate a chip the other day. It was too hot and I burnt myself.
That's less than ideal.
And I just sprayed it.
That is a less than ideal.
I have to be careful. All right, so that's it for the Pokemons.
Pokemon's
That's
done.
it for the Pokemons. All right, I'm going to quickly punch through a couple of other games that I just wanted to mention. Star Wars Unlimited, Shadows of the Galaxy. So the second set has dropped recently. Box prices on that, I actually checked eBay today and I saw a couple that sold for $250, but then it seems to be selling around $300 to $350 a box.
Right. What's retail on those?
$220, I believe. I think it's $220 or $230-ish. Again, it's just like the product, man. People just can't get enough of it.
Yep.
Like if we run draft nights at the store, they sell out instantly. If we run constructed, nobody comes
Interesting.
because they want product.
Yeah. Have they addressed that at all with the first set with how it was so hard to get? Or
Yeah,
have
well,
they
what they're doing is staggering allocation. So every store now gets 2 boxes per week max, so that they can run draft and have prizing, and that's it. So that you can't just somebody can't just come in and buy it and make max money. They're really pushing the growth of the game. It's a good thing.
That's a great thing, yeah.
Yeah.
As a collector, though, you're so limited in what you can get. If you want to sit there and crack a case, you can't.
Yeah, but a lot of people are playing it, I guess. You know, Star Wars has had so much failure in the TCG verse over the years. It needs a game to stick, and Fantasy Flight, I think, are doing a good job of that, regardless of what some people think. Showcases from that set, so the big chases are sort of sitting anywhere from $250 to $750. So, you know, like if you pull a showcase, you've covered the cost of your box all day, any day. But they're hard to pull. I pulled my first one on stream during the week.
Congrats.
Yeah, it was wild. Actually, was it this week? No, it was last week.
Do we know what the pull rates are? Like 1 per 4 boxes?
Nah,
1 per
I
6?
think they say it's 1 per case, but it's looking like it's more 1 per 18 boxes. So they're not even guaranteed in a case, I don't believe.
Yeah, right. 12 boxes in a case?
Yep, standard size. So Magic the Gathering, one that we don't really talk about too much, but I have an absolute affinity for. I just love that game. Assassin's Creed, that's dropped. Been well received. Again, collector booster boxes are sitting around $500. That's pretty much RRP. Not really moving up or down too much at the moment. It's the Beyond boosters, which are the smaller booster boxes. They seem to be going up in price, which has been interesting. Which is it's one of those ones. I think Fallout did the same. It sort of sat there for a little bit, and then when people realized that the print run on it was so tight, prices just like almost doubled overnight. So it'll be interesting to see. If you can afford to grab one and just sit on it and see what happens. I mean, the box itself looks sick. It's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. I do like what Magic have done with a lot of their collabs, the latest sets.
Universes Beyond, they call it, which is like the Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, Fallout.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park with Assassin's Creed. And then, they got some banger ones coming up. What were they? I can't remember. The next set's Bloomburrow, though. And that's meant to be really cool. That's kind of like almost like Sorcery in a sense that it's gone back to old Magic with the art style and that. And then Chronicles of Arcane, that other Kickstarter TCG that seems to, be one of the ones taking our old friend Metazoo's place. They finally released their second set, which I believe is called Nyxerian War. And I've got some of that coming, which will be nice. So we can open some of that and check that out.
Cool.
But that's going to be the first time that we'll see some of the previous Metazoo artists that have joined Chronicles of Arcane, like Poncho, Seb, and Isaac Skylee. They've all done artwork for it now, so it'll probably feel like opening Metazoo. It's going to be wicked.
Awesome. Can't wait. Can we sit down together and crack a few boxes?
Yeah. Well, they're only small boxes. They're like small boxes of about 10 packs, I think.
Okay.
It's an interesting skew, but I like it.
Are they running numbered cards and big hits through it, or
I'm not sure. I think there's like a short print of a particular card or a promo or something that everybody's chasing, and apparently nobody's pulled it yet. So it'll be cool to sort of chase and see what that is. But yeah, don't know if there's any serialized cards, not that I've seen.
Yep. All right.
So that's it for today's news. We can move into the main topic, which I think is going to be a fun one because it's really relevant to what we're both sort of going through at the moment, and that is competitive play.
100%. The timing couldn't be better for this. You've just rolled off regionals, which I want to go in depth on and talk about your experience, because in 2 weeks' time, I'm about to go into my own form of battle.
Yeah.
So we've spoken before about the hobby itself and how important gameplay is to games, and why you're drawn to it. You've always been drawn to it. You and your brother with you playing Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid. But now playing One Piece, preparing for your first official tournament. What are some of the things that you did to prepare for it? And what are some of the highlights? Can you run us through the event and what took place?
Well, what I didn't do, and I mentioned this last episode, was prepare enough. Yeah, it's one of those ones where I don't think you can honestly, like, you can't over prepare, but you can easily under prepare. For example, I went 4 wins, 5 losses, and I wanted at least 5 wins and 4 losses for a pass mark. 3 of the losses that I took were against the exact same deck I was running, and I did not practice playing against my own deck. I made the assumption that, I'm running it, I'll know what they're doing, which was a fair assessment to a degree. It realistically sort of came down to who was getting the big boys out first. But on that day, when I sat down to play the first guy that I played that was playing the same deck as me, I'd literally pooed the bed. The game was over in like 5 minutes.
Right.
I just didn't know what to do. I froze up and freaked out. And that was rough. And then one of my other losses was against a deck I just didn't get a chance to practice against at all. And the reality was, and then I beat the 4 wins with 3 different decks. Two obviously were the same. I beat those. And then 2 other random decks that I wouldn't say are in the meta right now, but are very funky. And I beat those, but I just didn't get the chance to practice enough against the 4 main decks. I practiced against one of them or 2 of them, and that was great. But then I didn't practice against mine or the other one.
Yeah.
So if you're going into like battle hardened now, and you know that the challenge is going to be the 3 new decks, and you're not playing them, then you need to just keep playing against them to be able to figure it out. Because the reality is you're going to come up against them. Like, I was in a room of 512 players, and I played 3 decks the same as mine. 1 deck that I hadn't practiced against, and then a bunch of others that I had. So, I felt like I was somewhat prepared going in, but I was obviously clearly underprepared.
Yeah. Your deck, did you have that pre-built and smashed games before? Did you, because I know you said you felt underprepared, but how many games would you have played in that week to the lead up? Were you still chopping and changing cards last minute into your deck, or was it kind of set in stone and you were ready to
Nah, I didn't finalize the deck till like 2 days out.
Okay.
Literally 2 days out. Was chopping and changing the whole time in the lead up. That was probably another problem. But then also one of the problems is set 7 only released like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks before, and I needed 8 cards out of that set.
Yeah.
So trying to obtain those quickly as well wasn't necessarily the easiest thing, but there is an online sim, and I probably could have and I should have utilized that a lot more in terms of just practice. And not relying on my mates to be able to be free to let me play against them.
Yep.
I could have just punched games on the sim, and I didn't.
Yep.
So, I'm still happy that I got 4 wins going into it, being that I would say I'm very much a casual player and not a competitive player. I play competitively, but, there's people that are in the scene that, they train and they go hard and they know what they're doing. Like, they're like always going hard. Like, if you come to locals, I'm like the good time guy. I'm just having fun, having a laugh, doing this, doing that. And it was the same at the event as well. I just didn't get the result that I wanted. Did
you get the chance to take a step back and watch some games in between your own? Because I think about those players that understand their deck and know what they have to do, but then you've got that top tier that they know every deck and every deck has to do.
Correct.
And that's the difference between the casual player that has fun and wants to, maybe string some wins together.
Yeah.
And those people that go, 9-0 is they know every deck as much as their own, so they can kind of counter that. Did you get the opportunity or even like talk to some of those top end players that were there over the weekend? Or
No, not really. I mean, 2 of my mates were technically top end players anyway. One finished 18th and one finished 32. And then one of the other boys was like 71st as well. I ended up finishing like right in the middle. I was like just over the I was just in the top like 49% or
Yep.
something. So I can take that. I can put that feather in my cap. I was better than half the blokes. But yeah, it's you don't really get too much time, right? Because you're running 9 rounds that day. They basically, you get a notification, tells you what table you're on. You go sit down. You got 35 minutes to play. So when it wraps up, you're kind of like, all right, I'm going to get up and just like go to the toilet or go outside to get some fresh air or get a drink.
Yep.
Because then once 35 minutes is up, they'll give you like 2 minutes and they send the next one. And you sit down and you play again.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it was a long day. I got there like 8:30 and left at like 5:30. And I was mentally spent on the way home.
Yeah, you would have.
And I drank plenty of pre-workout before I went there and had some like focus supplements and stuff. So I was good like up until lunch. But even at lunch, I was still 2-2. It was 2 wins, 2 losses. I think the way it went, I was like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And then like a loss on the last one as well.
Yep.
So I would, play well, play average, play well, play average, play well, play average.
Outside of preparing a little bit more and understanding the decks, what are some of the things that you'd take moving forward into your next tournament?
You know what I would do? And I said this to some of the guys before that tournament. I was like, the deck I was playing was the only one out of the sort of 4 meta decks that I could stomach because I enjoy playing a certain type of way. And that deck and none of the decks really sort of catered for that. So what I would do in going in the next tournament is I'm just going to play whatever deck I want to play, that I have fun playing. I'm just going to go there and enjoy it, as opposed to going there, trying to win, and then when you don't with a meta deck, like you just didn't enjoy the game.
Yep.
Like I'm not going to say the Enel deck isn't fun, but it's not my style of playing. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's very much sort of you got to sit there and take a lot of hits early. And then his ability allows you to cycle life late, and you're relying on sort of triggers and whatnot, and just cards in hand, etc. So yeah, I can tell you right now, even if it's nationals, like I'm just going to go to any event, and I'm going to play the deck that I want to play, not the deck that the meta and the community are like telling me I should be playing.
Yeah,
No,
that's awesome. I think the biggest thing in that is, what drew you to playing card games from the start was having fun.
Yeah.
And then from the outside looking in, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Like 5-4 for a first really big tournament. There's not too many people that are going to be able to do better than that on a first go, to be honest. So it's like going 4-5 is really, really honorable. Like we've joked about it before and spoke about it, that like flesh and blood for me at the moment is like I win for every 1 win, there's 10 losses. And it's like really, really competitive. And you're going against guys and girls that are playing 10, 15 games a day. And you're a casual player that gets in 3-4 games a week.
Yeah.
So I think there's a real lesson there for people. And the reason that we kind of wanted to touch on this is I'm 2 weeks out from my own first tournament. So I'm there trying to siphon as much experience from you and all of your tips and tricks, because I'm about to go in and do the same thing. So I'm playing a deck that is not the meta. Now, someone won with my deck over in one of the nationals overseas. You get a perfect run through against not versing new, which is like pretty much new and Enigma, really tough for me. But this person still playing Gold main, still enjoying it, played it, and they ended up coming out with the dub.
Well, that's what I mean. You make a really good point there, because one of the boys, Joe, the first 4 games of the day, he versed the same deck 4 times in a row. He was having an absolute shit day. He was 2-2, went to the lunch break, and he's like, this is the worst. I was like, bro, you'll be fine. You got all the Luchis out of the way. Don't worry about it. You're not going to come up against anymore. And he didn't, and he went 5-0 after lunch and finished top 32. So it does come down to what you are playing against. But in hindsight, if I had have practiced at least playing against my own deck, there's potential that I could be sitting here and saying, 6-3 or 7-2.
Yep.
And that's sort of what I look back at. And I'm like, damn, like I don't mind losing. I mean, I like to win, but if I lose and I'm having fun, then it's all gravy.
Yeah.
But like walking in there with a meta deck and you sit down against your opponent and they anticipate you should probably be winning, and then you don't, you're like, well, I would have preferred to just lose like playing red, yellow, Sabo or something that I actually want to play, like something that's a bit more fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm not here to like, even if I won anything, you know, from top 32 or whatever, I just keep it all. Like a lot of people go to these events and they literally just play it and sell whatever they win. They don't really care. It's probably more of an accolades thing for them. I don't even know. Like I would just keep it all myself. But yeah, it was a good day, man. It was a bloody long day. And then the top 16 went back and played on the Sunday. And the deck that I was running was the deck that won.
Ah, cool.
So
if you were half decent, you could have got the win.
If I wasn't such an absolute pencil, I could have, you know. But that's what I'm saying, right? That's why it irks me, because I was playing the right deck. I lost to 3 people playing the same deck as me because I didn't practice enough into itself, and that's where I am. Like I've only got myself to blame, you know. And some of the people that I played that were playing really random off-meta decks that just looked like they were having fun, man. They were doing their combos and it wasn't working, but they were doing their combos and they were having a good time.
Yeah. Think about someone preparing for a tournament, preparing for the top 5 decks, and then you rock in with the 10th best deck, which no one is versed in a hot minute.
Yeah.
You can shake ththings up while having fun.
More like what I want to do. I want to sit down in front of someone and they go, what the hell? Why are you playing that?
Yeah.
And be like, watch this, pal.
Bang.
Yeah.
I heard a really cool quote the other day. It was, the difference between winning and losing isn't the result, but how you go about it.
Yeah.
So even when you lose, you can still come out as, per se, a winner.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you did in this tournament.
Thanks, mate.
Because 4 and 5 is still really honourable. You had fun. You realised that you were playing a deck that you probably it was the meta, but, you know, you've taken some lessons from it. Now, if you go in unprepared to the next tournament and you lose to a mirror deck 3 times again, like, that's on you. That's probably being a loser. But at the moment, I think you can hold your head high.
Thanks.
No worries. I just wanted to say that.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But it'll be interesting to see how you go. And then, we'll go from there. I think One Piece Nationals is in like January or something. So,
okay.
I won't be doing anything of the competitive variety anytime soon. I'll be at locals continuing to just play sort of random janky decks as they come out.
Yep.
Trying to build one right now that I think nobody will expect. Whether it's any good or not, I don't know. But I'll sit down and I'll put it out there back. What?
Have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah. So, that's it.
Let's move on to our hobby heroes, Dino.
Yes, the hobby heroes.
We've had a bunch of people call in this week. So make sure down in the comment section, guys, you can find...
In the description,
you can find the SpeakPipe link down there. If you have any questions, anything you want to know collectible related, make sure you reach out. We'll answer them here on the pod. We've got 3 people here who have called in this week, and we don't know what it is, but...
We will be running a giveaway at some point for everybody that has called in. So, not that we... have to reward them because they want to be a part of the show and we love that. But we're going to. So if you haven't called in, you've been thinking about it, you should do it. But let's go to our first caller.
In a time where we've got a big range of TCGs to choose from, if you guys were to pick one TCG to stick with for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Alan coming through.
With a tough question.
Yeah. Which?
Because you'd have to make that assumption that it's going to last. Like that it's going to be there forever.
Yeah, imagine saying metazoo a year and a half ago. You'd have nothing to collect or play with.
That's what I mean, right? Because there's pretty much only 2 or 3 that have done it, which is Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Still sort of exists.
Yeah. And then the sporting baseball and basketball.
They're collectible cards, not trading card games.
Oh. Okay.
So you are wrong.
That sucks because my heart wants to say Flesh and Blood, but my head is telling me Pokemon for longevity purposes.
Well, I'm just going to say Magic the Gathering because it's been around forever.
Wow.
And it will be around forever. I love opening it. I
Yep.
can play the game.
Okay.
That's what it would be. If I had to pick one. Obviously, if One Piece was going to be around forever, that's what it would be. But there's a difference. Like Magic has built a trading card game off its own IP and its own brand and ideas. Doesn't rely on, other things, other outside sort of forces, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas One Piece is just an anime IP. Pokemon's built themselves a lot bigger than just an anime IP over the years. So, yeah, that's where I'd land. I'd land on Magic.
I would land on Pokemon.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'd land on Pokemon.
I didn't anticipate you to say something different.
Like I said, the Fab is just the flavor of the month for me at the moment. Speaking of flavor, that's how you segue.
Oh, you got to get it right on the tongue.
That's good. Take a sip of water and do another one too. Oh, you were soft for the first 20 minutes.
I'm not going to keep doing it. It's actually...
I completely forgot about it. ASMR, the old slurp of the water.
Well, Alan, thanks for calling in. Took you way too long. All right, next one.
Hey, Lee and Dean, Mama Kearns here. I'm interested to know what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given when it comes to collectibles, and what advice would you give to somebody new to collecting? Thanks, guys. Loving the pod.
Mama Kearns, absolute legend.
Shout it out. Where it all began.
Yeah. All right, well, why don't you answer first?
The best piece of advice I've ever been given. It sounds super cliche, but it would have been from our caller. Back when I was younger, I had a lot of cards. I was quite fortunate that I could collect a lot of cards and collect got like quite a great collection, which was spoken about before. And I would have cards that were worth more than others. And back in the day, Mum always said, just have fun with collecting and feel free to trade with other kids and kind of help them out as well. It's probably the best piece of advice I've ever gotten because it's something that I've spoken about a lot since then. And you just collect what you like and you have fun. As far as trading between friends, sometimes you buy me a $50 card, I buy you a $100 card. There's no like tabs. It's just like, I know you're going to appreciate this. And that was kind of instilled in me from a really young age. So it's just ironic. It comes from our caller, being a massive collector herself.
Yeah.
It was just like, have fun and don't worry. Like there'll be more opportunities to get cards and all this type of stuff. So yeah, just have fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. I don't know if I've ever been given TCG based advice that I would like, that I can recall. But I think if I was giving advice, it would just be collect and play what you love because time is a thief and you can't take it with you anyway. So you might as well enjoy the journey. And it just relates back to me playing that deck at regionals because I'm supposed to.
Yep.
And I was like, I could have way more fun just like spazzing on people with this wild ass deck that nobody actually knew about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So collect what you want to collect, play what you want to play, and just enjoy it. Because, yeah, if anything, being a father has taught me as well is time is a thief, man. It is gone.
Yep, very much. Yeah, the stigma around collecting probably isn't as much as what it used to be. So yeah, my one piece of advice, it's the same as you though.
That's fine.
It's the exact.
It's good
same.
Advice.
It's just enjoy and collect what you love.
I still feel like a lot of people don't listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's good that we both feel the same way.
Yeah, you're doing the One Piece promo where you're like, you can see the card trending down. Like, don't give in to FOMO. Don't give in to the feel of needing to pull the trigger all the time. That's another piece of advice.
I was standing here today looking at this collection of sealed booster boxes behind me. And I was that close to just starting to rip them open. Dead set.
Without me, was I here or
No, you weren't. This is just me this morning.
Oh, mate.
I was looking at like my One Piece boxes and stuff, and I was like, what's in there?
Just do it.
What's in there?
If you decide to do it one day, invite me over.
What's in there?
I want to be there.
Like, what's in there?
Mango.
just rip them open, mate.
I think
Have a bit of fun.
they all have mangas in there.
So, yeah.
Mama Kearns.
Thanks, Mama Kearns.
Thanks for calling in.
Call in every week.
Boop. Hi, guys. It's just Nikki. Just wanting to know how you guys juggle everything. You know, adulting, Dean being a new dad, Lee trying to juggle the 9 to 5, and still have those collecting goals and venturing off with the podcast, and really filling those passions and just being able to juggle it all. Like, how do you do that?
That's
Let me know. Bye.
Nikki, thank you for calling in. And what a great, we spoke about this on the last episode with Kim, because we asked Kim, how does she do it? How does she juggle everything?
Well, that was because, to answer your question, Nikki, we don't. Well, I don't. I don't juggle it successfully. Trust me. It's chaos. I mean, the only thing that's consistent is the time and day we drop the episodes. The times that they're recorded are very, very different, because it is hard to juggle. Life is nothing but a juggle. You know, you just got to set your priorities where they are, where they lie, and stick to it, I guess. But yeah, it's tough. I haven't had much sleep, if you can't tell. Look at these bags under my eyes.
New dad bag. New dad bags.
New dad bags.
I'm the same. It can be really difficult. I think the best thing you can do is just try and be as organized as possible. Get a calendar, build a schedule, and stick to it. Because when you stray from that, that's when things feel like they're out of control. That's, you know.
And that's not saying that you'll always be able to stick to your schedule, but it's about the discipline of creating a routine.
Yeah, of course.
And that's one thing that we've become good at with the podcast as well, is sort of like, these are the deadlines. Yes, we want to do it at this certain time. If we need to move it to this time, that's okay, but these are the deadlines. And that's just when they have to be met.
Yeah.
There's no if, buts, or maybes.
Yeah, 100%. Communication is so crucial to that as well. You know, like...
Because we want it to work. We love doing this and we want it to work.
Yeah.
If we didn't, then you start flaking. You're like, oh, let's just drop the episode on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But no, we want this to work. So you set yourself disciplined deadlines.
Yeah, and it's also going just back to the previous question. We're doing something we enjoy, something fun. Yeah. So it's easy to do that. Yeah. But I think communication just is like absolutely crucial, because between organizing, between, you know, yourself, JP, and then our loved ones, you know, babysitters, and then you've got full-time work and you've got friends, and just having a calendar and being like, this is what I'm going to stay true to. It's the most important thing. Again, it's never going to be perfect.
No, it's a juggle.
But that is, yeah. Let us know in the comments, what are some things that people do to help manage that? Because at times it can feel quite overwhelming. Yeah. And normally it's that whole, you know, university, do your papers the night before it's due. We like to leave things to the last minute sometime. But what are some mechanisms that people do to stay in front so they don't have that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Great question.
Control the controllables.
Yes, I say that for many things just in life in general. Yep. But so that's the Hobby Heroes. Awesome. Remember, guys, like Lee said in the description, SpeakPipe. Click on it, leave a message. It'll go into a future giveaway. I'm not going to tell you what it is, no. But if you're in it, you're going to love it. If you're not, unlucky. So, yeah, click. We haven't had anybody call from overseas yet. Get on here. My American friends. America. Get in here.
The brave. All right.
Hobby Rumble time. All right, today's Hobby Rumble is an interesting one. Now, it's hard because I think we're both going to agree with both sides of the fence, but that's not the point of the Rumble. It is, you do this, you do that.
Pick a side. We are not Switzerland.
Correct. So we are talking reprints. Should reprints happen? Yes. Should reprints happen? No.
No.
So I'll kick us off. As a player of TCGs, reprints are great. If you look at a game like Magic the Gathering that's 30 years old, and there's cards that they printed in sets 28 years ago that are upwards of $6,000 to $10,000. How am I ever going to buy one of those cards if I've just found this game? That's enough to turn somebody off. Bless the reprint 10 years later where they've reprinted a card. Not all cards. I'm not saying reprint the Black Lotus, right? I know that's not what I'm saying. But certain cards that are completely relevant, like a Black Lotus is banned anyway, right? It's on a reserve list. You can't actually use it in normal competitive play. So that doesn't matter. But cards that you need as a player, reprints allow them to be able to afford to be able to get into the game and then continue playing the game. Because if they get spooked out straight away, like it's too expensive, how am I ever going to get that? I can't get that, can't find that. They'll just leave. And if that happens at a mass or a macro level, your game will fail.
Not a bad point. Not a bad point. The one thing that I get really concerned about is the impact on card values and collections. So we've spoken about gameplay. Equally as important is collectability. Now, there's people out there that spend hundreds and thousands of dollars chasing cards, building sets, grading cards, putting these away in their collections, and there's a real value behind that.
Yeah.
Investing in the TCG community is something that a lot of people are doing at the moment, and it's really, really healthy for the desire of cards.
Yeah.
When you go and you reprint en masse, you devalue those investments, you devalue those cards, and it can take away a little bit of the shine of that chase. You're chasing, you're saving up money, you buy the $500 Hidden Fates Charizard, it grades a PSA 10, you put it in your collection, it feels great, and then they come out and announce that they're going to be doing reprints. The value drops, you feel like you've paid overs. As a collector, it doesn't sit right.
There's a fine line though, because Pokemon are a good example when it comes to reprint. They have like this 2-year window where basically after 2 years, they almost take it out off the printing line and it won't be reprinted again. So yeah, if you FOMO out early on and invest all your money into something and they announce a reprint, sure, you're going to take a hit. But if you hold it long term, particularly in Pokemon, then you're going to be okay. We've just seen that with 151. But 151 Japanese, they reprinted, and we've been selling it at the store, and it cannot stay on the shelf. It's done exactly what a reprint should do. Yes, there are people now hoarding more cases than they probably had before. And yes, prices did basically go in half, but the community, the consumer, now have had the ability to actually enjoy that product and be able to complete sets and open it and you know, build decks, whatever they need to do with it. I think reprint culture is healthy in the right way. Like, you know, I was talking earlier about the new One Piece set and they're reprinting mangas. Again, with the first 4, it appears they will appear different. Whereas OP5, 6, and EBO1's manga reprints, they should look almost identical because they haven't stipulated how different they're going to be. And we've already seen these Japanese mangas like half in price, like overnight, basically on that reprint. Now, that also comes down to, you know, human behavior and culture and what they believe in. The reality is if you actually did the math, you know, you're still going to be better off holding those cards long term, and not FOMOing, which is what a lot of people do these days.
Yeah, I'm down for reprints, but for the playability and for people to get access to the product. But in my eyes, it has to be distinguished differently. Now, I'm going to use the example here of Pokemon.
Well, Celebration Zard was different, right?
Celebration Zard.
Every time they reprinted a base set Zard, there's always been something different.
100%.
They never just came out and reran First Ed Shadowless Zards.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely understand that. When they talk about Wizards of the Coast, like base set had first edition, Shadowless, and then Unlimited, right? That is 2 reprints of the First Ed, which doesn't destroy collectability because a First Ed is still worth way more than the others. You get product in people's hands so they can play the game and grow the game, which is what they've done. But when they reprint with no card differences, that's when you destroy that. Yeah. So I'm not...
But that only happens in that micro sort of level that I mentioned, though. Like what we're seeing with 151 or, say... Lost Origins. What's that called in Japanese? Lost Abyss or something? What did they call that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But that Giratina halved in value with that reprint.
Yeah.
So it's short-term pain, I think, with reprints. And I think it'll be the same thing that happens with One Piece now as well. With these manga reprints, it'll be short-term pain. And the ones that either buy now when everybody else is freaking out, they're the ones that'll be successful at the end, or the guys that just hold on long-term.
Yeah, I think it's just like this, the collecting satisfaction and the rarity of those cards, because it changes so much and there's never any consistency behind it as well. So it's not like a set drops, set one drops, and then 7, 9, 10 months later you get like a small reprint. It's that just random sets come out, and because there's no consistency there as well, it makes you lose faith. And as a collector, like I will always collect things that I like, but I would be lying if I was to say that when you pay for a card and then it turns out to be ridiculous overs because of a reset, it just doesn't sit well. It really does suck as a collector when that comes out.
Yeah. But then you got, the people that don't have that card now have the chance to get it.
And I think a secondary market is healthy with having those premium cards that are more expensive.
Yeah.
It helps it grow the excitement for the next set, because you don't know what it's going to be. If everything's getting reprinted, it's like, oh, well, what's the bother? Why am I even collecting this? What do I chase?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys think out there in the hobbyverse. Are you for reprints or against reprints? Now, I mentioned earlier at the start that we were changing up the way punishments are going to work. And I think that's because we're going to kind of pivot a little bit how the Rumble works. Because even today's topic, Lee and I both feel arguments for both sides of that. And it's not necessarily what I believe versus what he believes. So it's going to be more of a courtroom style where we both have to just, argue our clients as if we were lawyers, their point of view, whether we believe in it or not. And then you guys basically will just decide on what you're for and which one you're against. And then we're going to create a tally board. And the first one of us to get 10 losses will then suffer a actual punishment, something that we fear, perhaps bungee jumping for the Colonel over there, or shark diving for myself. Instead of doing them on every episode, I might still make him eat a chili here and there to keep it entertaining. But that's what we're thinking of moving the Rumble in that direction.
Yeah.
Just so that it can be a little bit more topical, as opposed to us just going Pikachu's better, no, Charizard's better, blah, 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 blah. And then, we can actually ramp up what the punishments are.
Increase the stakes.
There's only so much sour spray we can have, right? Did it for you up. So you didn't have to tell me to. But I reckon that's it, man. Have you got anything else to add on why reprints are bad?
No, I think I've made my case pretty strong.
Yeah.
And I just when you're listening back to this and you're voting, just think about how you would feel if you chased some big pieces and then you finally got them because they were exclusive and really hard to get, and then they just got reprinted and they were everywhere.
But that's you can't leave people with that thought because it's untrue, because it doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't happen like that. They would reprint a set within a certain period of time. You still got decades for it to go up. And when they reprint cards, they are always different. They never reprint the exact same one, whether that be One Piece, Magic the Gathering, or whatever. Reprints are healthy for the game. Do I think everything should be reprinted? No. But do I think it has a place in our hobby? Absolutely.
And that's the Hobby Rumble.
All right. Well, that is it, guys. We are wheels up and we are out of here. We will be back with episode 10. Finally, double digits, guest episode, big Aussie legend. Looking forward to it. That's all we'll say. But for now, we're out here. This is the Hobby Podcast.